I'm so sick and tired of having my intelligence insulted, not to mention the fact of just being ripped off on a regular basis. Again, I'm watchdog on Wall Street. I'm supposed to prevent ripoffs and scams, and I try here on the financial side. And that's what we've been doing on my show for 20 some odd years. When it comes to government, there's little I can do. There's little I can do because, the politicians and the media, they get the people going on various different topics, and we get robbed. Our pocket is being perpetually picked by these liars, and I don't care if it's an elephant. I don't care if it's a donkey. It's the same crap. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the green nonsense that's taken place. There was a great column. It was on Real Clear Wire, written by Dugan Flanken. And he actually went back to Enron. And Enron, near and dear to my heart, was before I actually had a radio show. I wrote a column questioning Enron and its viability. And it was ridiculed back there in the 1990s for the column because Enron was the greatest company of all time. It was great. The Republicans loved Enron. The Democrats loved Enron because it was all in on Kyoto protocols and all sorts of stuff. And I'm taking a look at this thing and I'm saying, I don't get it. I did the whole, big scene there. I don't get it. How does this company going to make any money? May have survived a little bit longer if we, abided by more of those Kyoto protocols, but who knows? But in this column, he writes about the rise and fall of Enron, and actually Ken Lay's speechwriter. He said that the cause of Enron's financial bankruptcy were at root philosophical. Enron's leaders were certainly engaged in massive philosophical fraud, an attempt to cheat reality itself. And that's basically what we're doing with all of this green nonsense. We're trying to cheat reality. Again, for years, I think it was 5 years running, Fortune magazine had Enron as one of the most innovative companies out there. Very forward. It was a progressive company, man. It was a progressive company. Clinton loved it. Republicans loved it. Didn't matter. But anyway, it was a joke. Their accounting methods made no sense. They accounted for earnings that they said were going to happen. And they called that an asset. This whole mark to again, it's so hard to get your arms around. It's like me going into a bank or you going into a bank saying, yeah, I got this business and, our projections for these things are going to be X, Y, and Z 5, 10, 20 years down the road. And it's worth that much on my balance sheet right now, which is ridiculous in of itself. Anyway, this whole green revolution that's been taking place that they've been pushing on us, I really do think, and I'm hoping, I'm hoping it collapses sooner rather than later. We're already seeing the cracks. We're already seeing European governments pulling back from mandates. We're already seeing car manufacturers here in the United States slowly but surely try to take a turn away because they know unless there are subsidies, unless there's more government handouts and giveaways, quite frankly, it's just not viable. The whole concept of net zero is a complete and utter philosophical fraud. Again, put it this way: to dream the impossible dream and to turn it into reality would mean sacrificing an estimated 6,000 useful products that rely on byproducts from crude oil refineries, everything from asphalt for highways, fertilizers, cosmetics, or synthetic rubber, medicines, medical devices, cleaning products, plastics, yada, yada, yada. Again, we're already seeing the breakdown. Germany is already backing away from its total ban on internal combustion engines by 2035. Again, a lot of them are still planning to get rid of it. It's just not going to happen. again, you want to take a look too. I did it this morning. I went and I watched some of the documentaries early about the slavery, because it's modern day slavery that's happening in Africa right now. It is what it is. The mining of cobalt in Africa and the entire supply chain and how it's looted and how big corporations, they can keep a couple steps away from it, and how that cobalt ends up making its way to some Chinese battery manufacturer. And you're looking at 4-year-olds, going down into mines. They said they make less than £1 a day. There's a British documentary on it. Less than £1 a day. It's not slave labor. What would you call it? It's exactly what it is. It's modern day slavery. That's what's taking place, so you can keep your electric cars going. I mean, I say, listen, cobalt goes into the batteries for your iPad, your phone, and whatever it may be. But the demand for this product is so great because of all of this. This is what these companies are resorting to at this point in time. Now, it's amazing to me, how all the left-wingers got all up in arms when they found out about blood diamonds. I mean, that Leonardo DiCaprio did a movie on it. Everybody doing blood cobalt at this point in time. But anyway, let's take a look at, and we've gone over this here on the program, and just how impossible it's going to be when it comes to the power grid and the infrastructure concerns. We, from the get-go, put the cart before the horse and didn't think any of this through. And again, it's all these, it's like kids in some college dorm room coming up with ideas without thinking through the consequences. Did you see that the Google bus in San Francisco, the electric bus that lost power last week and rolled backwards and like destroyed like a countless number of cars going down one of the hills in San Francisco? Do you know this too? This is amazing. Amazing. They have those e-bicycles now, the e-bikes. They're killing people due to fires. You couldn't make this one up. Okay. Fire safety in New York City had gotten, it would have been great. Obviously, the technology is there and everything like that. Another awful story last week about a brownstone getting wiped out in Brooklyn. And you had 3 generations of families from 33 to 81 perished. Why? It was because of a battery charging fire. 17 there's been 90, think about this for a second, 93 fire deaths in New York this year. 17 of them have been due to electric batteries, for crying out loud. That's pretty substantial, quite frankly. Anyway, I can go on. We can talk about just the stupidity. We could talk about volcanoes and when they go off and the amount of CO2 that gets spewed into the environment. I actually looked it up. Why not? Because again, this is when I was a kid. I remember this because we actually had ash in upstate New York from Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980. It released the same amount of pollution as 270 years of human industrial activity as it was in 1970. Think about that for a second. 270 years, one blast. And the 2022 blast of the eruption there was at the Hunga Tonga eruption was twice the size of Mount St. Helens. So why all of this green nonsense? There's a lot of money being made, people. I mean, you go back and you take a look at some of the losses and what we've spent as taxpayers. We all know Solyndra. That was obviously a buzzword. They had a $535 million government guaranteed loan. That means they said government guaranteed. It wasn't government. We guaranteed it. This is how they use language the wrong way. If this was presented, they say government if it's taxpayer guaranteed loan. We took a $500 million plus loss on that. None of it was paid back. Another one here. 400 million given to Abound Solar. Gone. 280 million Cali Solar. 193 was doled out to Fisker. Another 336 million of it was canceled in loans. 132 million A123 Systems, failed battery maker. This was all under Obama. It's all under Obama. This $2.3 trillion jobs package, this Biden administration stuff that was put forward, free money for General Motors and Ford and other automakers. Again, they're losing. They're losing a fortune. None of these things would exist without taxpayer subsidies, without us paying for it. What are we getting for all of our money? Nothing. Nothing. But let me tell you who is. Let me tell you how this works is your buddies, the people you vote for in Washington, D.C., they're the ones that are making a fortune off of this in one way, shape, matter, or form. I was cracking jokes about it. I remember how bad the markets were, in the lead up to Obama being elected. And I said the greatest investment for, the early stages of the Obama administration was actually giving money to Obama. The best way to make money during the Obama was giving money to Obama and then opening up some BS green company and then having massive amounts of tax dollars funneling over to you. But again, I'm not going to just pick on Obama and Biden because it's both sides. I can't put this another way. They're all whores, man. And again, I was thinking about this. An old friend of mine, late friend of mine, who happened to be one of the smartest people I've met. He was arguably the number one eye surgeon in the entire country that left us way too soon. And he built up with his partners just this tremendous business in Southwest Florida for everything, plastic surgery, all this stuff, offices all over the place. Really, really smart people. I remember talking with him, the phone calls from the politicians demanding, money, better give us this, or you're not going to get this, or we're not going to be able to pass this, and we're fighting for you here. And I remember sitting down at one of our kids' birthday parties and be like, Chris, man, they're all whores. They're all whores. And he's right. Here's another one. Case in point. You're Republicans, right? Okay. You've now got Louisiana's Bill Cassidy. I think he's on his way out the door. And none other than I love all wars, Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. They're basically pushing a Senate bill. This is a Republican Senate bill that would enact a carbon tariff. That's right, which is what, people? That is a new freaking tax on you and I. Oh, and they're going to sell it to you. They're going to sell it to you like, we're going after China. We're going after the communist China and their pollutant ways. We're going to put a tariff on their products because they're not doing things the clean way like we're going to do. You think, honestly, well, they do. What they're doing is they're insulting your intelligence. Who pays for tariffs? Well, Chinese government's going to pay for it. And those Chinese companies that are polluting. Really? All they're going to do is they're going to pass that cost on down to you. It's just that simple. Yep. And again, the Donald, he's a big fan of tariffs. He likes this bill. Former trade advisor Robert Lighthizer, he loves tariffs. So again, Cassidy and Lindsey Graham, let me tell you how they're the whores that they are. Sorry. Certain businesses here in the United States that rely upon whatever it may be from China, certain parts, certain materials coming from China, whether, let's say, be lithium, whatever it may be, they're going to cut checks to Lindsey Graham and to Republicans so they can cut little deals so tariffs can be avoided for the stuff that they want. So this is great. If you're a politician, this is a great way where you go to various different people and you say, you know what, you give us campaign money, or guess what? The products that are going to go into what you're making, your end product, are going to be a hell of a lot more expensive. Making the people in Washington, D.C. no different at all than Don Fanucci from Godfather 2 going around to wet his beak. Any difference? I don't see much of a difference. I really don't. So anyway, their bill is going to impose tariffs on 16 categories of goods produced in countries with higher CO2 emissions than the United States. Steel, aluminum, critical minerals, solar panels, wind turbines, crude oil, gasoline, petrochemicals, plastics, paper, and lithium-ion batteries. Now again, companies could lobby to have products added to the list, and certain companies will, right? So if let's say you are making, you're making wind turbines here in the United States, and you can't compete with, you can't compete with China or other country that's making it. And you say, well, they're dirty. They're dirty. Stick a tariff on that. Make my product more competitive. You understand? People, do you understand the hypocrisy and the crap? It's the same crap that China would do, authoritarian governments would do. Who ends up paying the price? We do. We pay the price. Now, get a kick out of this. Tariffs are going to be based on a foreign goods relative carbon intensity. They actually come up with these phrases, as calculated by a new National Laboratory Advisory Board on Global Pollution Challenges. That's like a run-on, for crying out loud, in the name of something. National Laboratory Advisory Board on Global Pollution Challenges. Is Greta Thunberg on that board? Yeah, that's what we need. We need another government agency. We need another government agency. We need another freaking hole in the head. Yep, new bureaucracy with sweeping powers. That's just what we need. Another government bureaucracy that acts as judge, jury, and executioner. And these a-holes call themselves Republicans. What's the difference between what they're doing and what John Kerry wants to do? Nothing. But make no bones about it, people in South Carolina will still vote for Lindsey Graham. I don't know if Cassidy's running again, but they'll vote for him too. Vote the name you know, right? Stupid. Anyway, U.S. production of most goods on this tariff list doesn't come close to meeting domestic demand. Yet tariffs could be reduced only in limited circumstances, namely for national security needs, or if U.S. companies produce less than 5% of domestic demand. That means importing businesses won't have an alternative to paying the tariffs, which obviously would be filtered down to us. And again, this is the misdirection that's being sold. Cassidy is selling the bill. He's saying that, and again, this is something like Al Gore would say, the Chinese Communist Party and other foreign governments have ignored international norms and agreements regarding environmental protection and pollute the world without consequence. And the bill would hold these polluters accountable. No, it won't. No, it won't. It's not going to hold anybody accountable. They're just going to collect more money for them. And again, it allows politicians to collect more campaign money. It's going to be retaliatory tariffs. It's going to go back and forth. And quite frankly, it's not going to work. The whole thing is a house of cards, and it needs to go away. You know, it's interesting. It's been a year out. It was about a year ago. I was railing. And I was disgusted. The Biden administration coming out, telling the SEC that, hey, listen, you got any advisors out there, anybody on Wall Street that is putting their clients into ESG funds, well, if their clients lose money on it, they're not responsible. They're not responsible. It was a get out of jail free card for bad investment advisors. Well, I told you that these things are garbage. Investors have pulled more than $14 billion from these ESG funds. Why? I don't know. They suck. They're losing people. Exactly like we told you they were going to do. At some point in time, people, you have to stop. You have to stop accepting that we have to be ripped off. You have to start railing against all of this injustice because we're getting robbed. We're getting robbed more ways than one. You're getting robbed if you're donating to political parties, you're donating to these candidates, and we're getting robbed because of the policies that they're putting forward that further their way of living. They don't further our way of living. And again, the way our country works, again, we criticize China, China's Communist Party. It's the same nonsense here with who you got to pay off and what you've got to do and who you got to cut a check in order to get business done the right way, all under the guise of saving the climate. Save me. Save me, please. Okay? WatchDog on WallStreet.com.